Nicholas Rushworth. Hello to you, Nick. We're going to start off with Syria, as is often the case at the moment. Where do you want to lead off with?
Hi to you, Chris, and hi to everybody. Of course, the G20 St. Petersburg summit is on everyone's mind. I'm going to go straight away to the Independent in the UK, and it's leading not fear and loathing in Las Vegas, but fear and loathing, Chris, in St. Petersburg. World leaders are as far apart as ever on Syria, the paper says. The cartoon in that paper seems to sum up some of the mood. Putin and Obama have shaken hands, but the atmosphere between them, Chris, is glacial, as you can see there.
Okay, next up, two London-based papers, Arabic ones.
Well, the Independent also in London, but they're also pan-Arab-based papers, aren't there? They're Al-Hayat and Ashaq Al-Assad. I'm going to go to Al-Hayat, which is saying in this piece here that, in fact, while a lot of people are seeing that Putin has the upper hand on his home turf in St. Petersburg, that for them is not the case, because at this point he's not been able to build support for his position, and notably with Beijing. Yes, Beijing is opposed to military intervention like Moscow, but it's not endorsing the position that Putin has of letting Assad hold on to power. So there's a kind of divergence there. Ashaq al-Assad has an article saying that Saudi Arabia and certain Gulf states pushing for a military strike do not want limited action at all, as Congress will be deciding on in the United States. Instead, it wants a full war, which will aim to remove Assad completely. That then would clear the way for a full and proper diplomatic approach to the whole series of questions in the Middle East. So that's the take from the Arab papers there in London.
Okay, next on to the Wall Street Journal, and a word of warning, to say the least, really.
Well, a threat, no less. This is the paper, the Wall Street Journal, as you said, and the United States, according to that piece, has intercepted an order from Iran to militants in Iraq to attack the US embassy in Baghdad in the event of any strike on Syria. Now, the Wall Street Journal explains further down in that piece that Washington is actually making preps for possible attacks on its interests in the Middle East, including on US embassies. Specifically, again in that piece, US officials fear Syria ally Hezbollah could attack the US embassy in Beirut in Lebanon.
And talking of Lebanon, obviously deeply affected by what's been going on in Syria, and you've got a take from a Lebanese paper there.
Well, we've been hearing on our own channel, France 24, about the plight of Lebanese as they sit on the sidelines across the border looking on at what's going on in Syria and what could happen in Syria. L'Orient Le Jour is headlining that the fear of strikes against Damascus adds to the fear of terrorist attacks. Shops and restaurants have seen business drop off. Tourists are deserting the country. The paper there points to a series of text messages that went out in the recent days warning people not to go to shopping centres. That is heightening anxiety, of course.
And the fear, to say the least, of course, being felt by Syrians.
Well, indeed. And of course, I saw this cartoon and chose it straight away. It shows a sense of the isolation Syrians must feel in these difficult times for them. There you can see two people, the woman and a man sitting on a donkey. The woman says, "So do you think military intervention will be limited?" And he says, "Well, not if it lands on us," which is simply to say that, of course, what is limited for one person is not limited for another. If you're actually in the line of fire, Chris, you are dead, aren't you? And you won't be around to ask any more questions about whether it's limited or not.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Nicholas Rushworth, for that roundup of the international press. Time now for a very short break here on Live from Paris, after which I'll be back with all the latest news.